Good morning everyone. In this video, we are going to cover the current affairs. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app and you can attempt the quiz in this app and you can read detailed explanation. For regular updates, please join our Telegram channel. The link is given in the description box. We have started a new channel, Civils Academy. You can subscribe to it if you find it relevant. Now, let's start. Who are the beneficiaries of One Rank, One Pension scheme which was in news recently? So, it is a scheme for armed forces veterans. Why this scheme was in news recently? Because recently it completed 5 years and that is why it was in news. So, under this uniform pension scheme, the pension is provided irrespective of time at which these soldiers retire. In simplest term, it is based on the rank. If your rank is same, you will get the same pension. IMD, that is India Meteorological Department, is going to issue forecast for the outbreak of which disease. So, it is going to issue forecast for the outbreak of malaria disease and it will be done from next monsoon season. Now, IMD is under MOES, that is Ministry of Earth Sciences. Present Minister is Dr. Harshvardhan. IMD DG is Dr. Mrityunjay Mohapatra. Recently, IMD was also in news as it is the nodal organization for weather forecasting in our country. Now, recently the storm Eta was in news. Answer in comment box which area was impacted because of this storm. Recently Dr. Harshvardhan was in news as he became the chairperson of executive board of WHO, that is World Health Organization. Recently USA decided to quit WHO. USA was also in news as it formally left Paris climate deal. However, new president-elect has announced that USA may join this Paris climate deal. So it was signed during COP21 in Paris in 2015. Which Indian company has partnered with Karnataka government to modernize 150 ITIs with an outlay of 4600 crores? So for this purpose, Tata Technologies has partnered with Karnataka government for the modernization of ITIs. Now, what is ITI? ITI stands for Industrial Training Institute. So these institutes are for industrial training and they are set up under Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Now these institutions are different from IIT. What is full form of IIT? These are Indian Institutes of Technology and the administration of IIT is managed by IIT Council and this IIT Council is headed by MHRD Minister, that is Minister of Human Resource Development. Now MHRD has been renamed as Ministry of Education. Present Education Minister is Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank. Recently IIT Kharagpur was in news. Why it was in news? Because a Center of Excellence, that is COE, for Indian Knowledge System will be set up by IIT Kharagpur. What is the meaning of this term? Center of Excellence. It means it will be a center where different people will come together to work on the Indian knowledge system. So, a database will be prepared. Which state has won award from the World Travel Mart London for exemplary activities during COVID-19? So, the state of Kerala won the award for its activities to promote responsible tourism during COVID-19. And Kerala's Responsible Tourism Mission won the award in the category of Meaningful Connections. Now, if we talk about tourism, recently Ministry of Tourism released statistics about tourism and as per that report, Uttar Pradesh is on top position in terms of domestic tourists and Tamil Nadu is on top position in terms of foreigners. Recently, Uttar Pradesh was also in news because of its campaign to spread awareness about crop residue burning. So this campaign has been started by Uttar Pradesh government to make people aware about the harmful impact of burning of crop residue. Which technology company has launched a new small and medium businesses guide in our country? So this has been announced by Facebook. So this will be helpful for small and medium businesses. Facebook was also in news because of its entity WhatsApp. WhatsApp is the entity of Facebook and recently WhatsApp got approval for WhatsApp Pay. It got approval from NPCI. And for this WhatsApp Pay, it has partnered with 5 banks. These 5 banks are State Bank of India, SDFC, ICICI, Axis Bank and Jio Payment Bank. Now, it is important to note that these 3 banks, that is SBI, SDFC and ICICI, these are DSIB, that is domestic systematically important banks. That means these banks are too important for Indian economy. And who provide this DSIB status? It is provided by Reserve Bank of India, that is our central bank. Tigray region, which was in news recently, is in which country? So it is in Ethiopia. As you can see in the map, this is Ethiopia. This is the capital of Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, and this is the Tigray region. It is the region in the northern side of Ethiopia. Now, why it was in news? Because of TPLF. What is TPLF? It is Tigray People's Liberation Front. So recently, the Ethiopia government announced military operations in the region of Tigray. Why this was done? Because recently TPLF officials claim that they have shot down an Ethiopian army warplane, and that is why the situation is tensed in the region. Now, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia is Abiy Ahmed, and last year, that means in 2019, he was selected for Nobel Peace Prize. It is important to note that the stability of Ethiopian region is important for the stability of Horn of Africa. Which Union Ministry has launched the Hajj 2021 guidelines? So these has been released by MOMA, that is Ministry of Minority Affairs. Present Minister is Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi. Now what is Hajj? Hajj is the annual Islamic pilgrimage to Makkah. Makkah is in Saudi Arabia and it is the holiest city for Muslims. The capital of Saudi Arabia is Riyadh. In fact, the headquarters of GCC is in Riyadh. Recently, Saudi Arabia was also in news because it is the president of G20 group for this year. Saudi Arabia was also in news as recently it became the full-fledged member of FATF, that is Financial Action Task Force. The headquarters of FATF is in France, in Paris. Recently, FATF was in news as it decided that Pakistan will stay in the grey list till 2021. Now, coming back to this minority affairs, now answer in comment box, at present, at national level, how many religious minorities are recognized? Which state has topped the National Water Awards 2019 under Best State category? So, Tamil Nadu won the Best State category award in National Water Awards. So, these awards were by Jal Shakti Ministry. And Tamil Nadu is followed by Maharashtra and Rajasthan in the water management. Now, in the context of water, recently, Water Risk Filter Analysis report was released. And this report was released by WWF, that is World Wildlife Fund. And as per this report, 30 Indian cities will face water risk by 2050. What is the issue price of 8th tranche of sovereign gold bond scheme? So the issue price is 5177. Recently, this scheme was opened for subscription from 9th of November to 13th of November. And this is 8th tranche. These gold bonds are issued by RBI on behalf of Government of India. Now, a detailed video on this topic is already uploaded on Civils Academy channel. You can watch that for more information. Which team has bagged the first prize in Government Techthon 2020? So, it was won by Fit for Future. So, this Government Techthon was organized by IEEE in association with NIC and Oracle. This NIC is under MEITY, that is Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. NIC stands for National Informatics Center. Now, what is this Fit for Future? So, this is a team from Robert Bosch Engineering and Business Solutions Private Limited. So, this team has won the first prize in this event. Now, they demonstrated a prototype for automated vehicle fitness check. That means whether the vehicle is working properly or not, this will be done. That means this checking will be done automatically. And this prototype, that means how it will be done and how it can be used at large scale, this was demonstrated by this team Fit for Future. IFFCO Bazaar has partnered with which platform for integration of making wide range of agricultural products accessible to farmers? So this has been announced by SBI Yono Krishi. So both IFFCO Bazaar and SBI Yono Krishi decided to collaborate so that agricultural products can be made accessible to the farmers. Now, what is IFFCO? It is Indian Farmers Fertilizer Cooperative Limited. So it is India's largest fertilizer manufacturer. What is SBI Yono Krishi? So it is a specific dedicated portal for farmers, and it is by State Bank of India. What type of transportation was inaugurated by Indian Prime Minister between Hazira and Ghogha in Gujarat? So this was a Ropex ferry service. Please note down these places. These are important. Hazira and Ghogha, and these are in Gujarat. And the name of this Ropex ferry service is Voyage Symphony. It is important to note that government is also working on a ferry service between Ghogha and Dahej. Now, recently Gujarat was also in news because of Gujarat High Court as it decided to live stream its court proceedings on YouTube. Gujarat was also in news because of its seaplane service, and this is first of its kind service launched in our country. Who has been elected to United Nations Advisory Committee on Administrative and Budget Questions? So, Indian diplomat Vidisha Mehta has been elected to this ACABQ, that is Advisory Committee on Administrative and Budgetary Questions. Now, this committee ensures that the funds which are given to the United Nations are used properly and they are used for right projects. What is the name of Earth observation satellite launched by ISRO? So the name of satellite is EOS-01, and this was launched by ISRO. This was launched through PSLV C-49. What is PSLV? It is Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. So this is Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. Then we have GSLV, that is Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle. So your homework is to read the difference between PSLV and GSLV. Now ISRO is under DOS, that is Department of Space. Recently, ISRO was in news because of its commercial arm Antrix. We have already covered this Antrix Devas issue. So these were the most important questions. Now we are going to cover important events. First is JCB Prize for Literature. So Malayalam author S. Harish won the JCB Prize for Literature for his novel Mustache. He is Malayalam author. And the English version of this Mustache is by Jayashri Kalathil. That means Jayashri Kalathil translated this into English. Next is Green Soldiers. So Green Soldiers are those who protect the wildlife and biodiversity. And recently Pake Tiger Reserve became the first tiger reserve in the northeast to provide insurance cover to these green soldiers against COVID-19. This Pake Tiger Reserve is in Arunachal Pradesh. Next is World Science Day for Peace and Development. So this is on 10th of November and the theme was Science for and with Society. Next is Tejpur Lychee. So recently it got GI tag. GI stands for Geographical Indication. Tejpur Lychee is associated to Assam. Next is RBI Kehta Hai. So it is a campaign by Reserve Bank of India. It is a campaign for financial awareness. It is an old campaign. Why it was in news recently? Because RBI decided to evaluate the impact of this campaign. So this campaign was for financial awareness and for safe banking practices. Next is country's longest motorable single lane bridge. So recently this bridge was inaugurated in Uttarakhand. Next is Karkhni Sachi Wari. So it is a Marathi film. Why it was in news recently? Because it is the only Indian film which got entry in Tokyo International Film this year. So this time it is 33rd Tokyo International Film Festival. Tokyo is the capital of Japan. Next is Paris Master 2020. So it is a tennis tournament. Recently it was in news because Daniil Medvedev won this tournament. Daniil Medvedev is from Russia. Next is Your Best Day is Today. So it is a book by Anupam Kher. He is Bollywood actor. Next is Rashati. So it is a book by Sasindran Kalinki, and this is a book on transgender. Next is A.K. Singh. So recently Akshay Kumar Singh was appointed as the Chief Executive of Petronet LNG Limited. Chief Executive. Next is Michael Holding. So he is a cricketer from West Indies. Why he was in news recently? Because he was appointed as new patron of Marylebone Cricket Club. So these were the most important events. Thank you, and that's all for the day.